Welcome to this episode of Legends of Nikon, a series where we take a walk down memory lane to the days of Nikon F-mount and give a little salute and appreciation to the glorious glass of old. If you're here doing some research before buying, I hope you'll consider checking the link in the description first. Doesn't cost you anything extra, it just helps out the channel. Nikon is no stranger to 200mm lenses, and no brand really is, I guess, technically. However, in 1977, Nikon released the fastest, and it was for news media only, the AI Nikon 200mm f2 IF-ED. News media only? How unfair, right? Don't worry, some years later, sales to regular folks like you and me began. This lens was very popular for film, and you can still find converted versions from time to time. Fast forward to 2004, and Nikon releases the 200mm f2 VR that only ran for 6 years before being updated to the VR2. I mention this because the optical design and pretty much everything else is the same. The newer VR2 version has 4 or 5 stops of improved vibration reduction, which you'll know at telephoto links, that's kind of a big deal. Everything that follows, we're talking about the VR2 because it's the newest, but really I care about optics, and the optical quality of both is kind of unreal. The Nikon 200mm f2G VR2 can still be had new for $5,700 and over $4,000 in top used condition. I even saw one in bargain condition at KEH, which on their grading system is the 6th down from new quality, and it's 3rd from the bottom above only ugly and as is, or basically salvage parts. Bargain quality is described as frequently used with above average wear, more than average wear for the age of the item, and may have dents, dings, or finish loss. Glass may have marks or blemishes, but should not affect picture quality. $2,970. Why so high? Must be an extremely complex optical design, right? Actually, not really. I was kind of amazed to learn that this lens only has 13 elements and 9 groups, 3 of which are ED and 1 super ED. Compare that to lenses today of something like 27 elements and 24 groups or whatever. This lens is proof that less is more with elements, at least it was at that time. You can use a lens's optical design to overcorrect for every single optical imperfection, or you can fix some of them in post but have an unbelievable image right out of the camera with something like the 200mm f2. I kind of miss those days. If I had to guess, you're paying for 2 things. The toughness of its build, and Nikon knows it's the best, and if you want the best, there you go, $6 grand after tax new, please. And it's kind of hard to deny that it's the best. My history with the 200mm f2 goes a little something like this. It was a lust after lens that I accepted I would never be able to afford. In my early to mid DSLR days, I knew nothing of it, actually. Then one day I got to use one briefly on site in the field, and I basically dreamed of owning one someday ever since. Around the time that my skill, experience, and niche that I fell into, which is the elevated dramatic portraits, reached the level where godly glass like this could be reasoned with, the mirrorless system came. I thought the first FTZ adapter was clunky and dorky looking, and my third-party lenses sucked on it, so I switched from F-mount to Z-mount 100%. Today, with the much better designed FTZ2 and the claims that G-series lenses are not only awesome adapted to the Z9, but actually are performing better than they did on DSLRs, I'm back to dreaming about owning this piece of magic someday. But I still can't just afford something like that like it's nothing. My hope kind of resides in Nikon releasing a native Z-mount version someday. God knows what the price is going to be, but you know. Let's jump over to Flickr and see what other people are doing with the Nikon 200mm f2 VR and VR2. Alright, so we're over here on Flickr, and right off the bat, I just got to take a look at this one. Absolutely gorgeous color. Wow. The contrast is so rich on it too. Look at the black and white ability of this lens. It's just so incredible. The background is just, it's more obliterated than any lens that isn't like an f1.2 is going to obliterate. In fact, the 85mm f1.2 probably doesn't obliterate quite like this, which kind of makes sense because, you know, we're talking f2 at 200mm, but the separation is just so incredible. The black and white ability, the detail, I mean, absolutely unreal. It has that silvery characteristic that we black and white fanatics seek. Just look at the insane amounts of contrast and detail and sharpness. It's just like the perfect lens. There's just absolutely no denying it. I just don't even know how Nikon could beat itself Even if there was a new version, it's like, how do you do better than this? Just take the exact optical formula and stick a Z mount on it. I mean, every single strand of hair, this is a pretty shallow depth of field, but every single hair is separated. Fantastic. Look at this incredible shot. The colors are so fantastic. The contrast is so fantastic. The separation, it's just 100%, 360 degrees. This lens just has nothing that's noticeable under normal shooting conditions. It's flawless. That's why this thing is a legend. Incredible. I think this will probably be a good one to end on, a full frame headshot, right? Very little negative space. It's just so sharp. This lens really, really does justice to skin tones. It just looks so natural and real. Still, to this day, I'm still lusting after this lens. I could seriously look at the flicker of this lens for hours, and you should too. Go show these photographers some love. Nikon has always made the best glass on average, in my opinion. That's why I've been here the whole time. Glass over camera any day. But every once in a while, they do even better than I thought they could. Every once in a while, a lens comes along that is not even worth wondering how the heck the manufacturer did it. And something being so good that you don't even worry about wondering how they did it, that gives any lens legendary status. So let's give a salute and appreciation to the Nikon 200mm f2 VR and VR2. Check out the links in the description if you're interested in picking up this lens. I'm Z Wade, the Z Wade, and Z Wade Photo. Stay legendary.